The pandemic has drastically changed the way people work. Many Americans, and New Yorkers included, are either working remotely or have some sort of hybrid work situation. That means virtual meetings through platforms like Zoom are here to stay. They're the new way of life. According to a new study from the University of Arizona, however, being on camera all the time is draining, and it suggests that folks turn those cameras off. Our next guest says not so fast and encourages everyone to keep the cameras on. Joining me this morning is Martin Moore. He is a former CEO who is now a leadership performance expert. Who better to talk to than you about this, Martin? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marisol. It's great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you because everyone, I think, in my general vicinity, and if I walk down the busy streets of New York, has worked remotely in the past year and a half. You say there are 3 reasons why turning your camera off during a virtual meeting is a bad idea. And the first one focuses on engagement. Could you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely, Marisol. So what we've learned over the last 18 months or so is that it's relatively easy to work from home. It's much harder to lead from home. And for leaders out there, they're trying to get a team together and build a culture and to get some performance and results. And so if a leader can't see what's going on, and don't forget that non-verbal communication is an extremely important part of how we converse, then they're going to have trouble running that team.
Right. We were talking about that we all have been guilty of turning our camera off, but when we keep our camera on, we stay a little bit more focused.
Yes, we do.
Now, we are the underlings, right? There are people that we report to. So how does keeping your camera on ensure that there is trust between all the parties involved?
I think trust has grown over time, and trust is much easier to build when you're in a face-to-face environment. And so we're very tolerant these days of the nuances of Zoom, so we don't mind the odd family pet walking past in the background, or the odd child calling for something from their parents, or the odd plane landing at Logan Airport as it's doing over the top of my studio at the moment. But the interesting thing is, to build trust, you've got to have that engagement and that connection. And the connection's really important, and it's facilitated by that face-to-face connection that we have through Zoom or any other product.
I think for most of us, we had Zoom fatigue because it was the only way that we could really communicate with each other. But you say that there is a deeper problem with folks who actually want to turn their camera off. And what is that?
Yeah, well, I think the turning the camera off thing is a backlash against the number of inane meetings that don't have really much of a purpose or much of a value-driven outcome. And so really, the deeper problem is there are too many meetings, there's not enough value generated in those meetings, and what we need to do is have less meetings with less people in them, rather than just saying everyone's still got to be at all these meetings and keep your cameras on.
Yes.
Now, the interesting thing about this, Marisol, is that when you think about people's performance, when you think about what people are trying to achieve at work, these meetings are just designed for leaders who can't lead well to keep control over people that they can't see. A lot of leaders are used to having people right next to them in the office space and they can see what they're doing. So insecure leaders are going to have more and more meetings to try and cover that up. And that's not a good thing. So we need to get to the root cause of the problem and not just try and address the symptoms.
So the folks who are charged with supervising this, your people aren't in your immediate purview, so let's have more meetings so I can control what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And it's one of these things where, how many people do you know who have rolled their eyes, have said, this meeting could have been an email, this Zoom could have been an email, maybe fewer of those. Okay, Martin, I mentioned in the commercial break that we were going to have some viewers talking about their camera habits on virtual meetings, and I want to get your reaction, so let's play the first one.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Lucria Ortiz and I'm a nonprofit executive. Normally when I'm on Zoom, I have my camera on. I think it's important to treat Zoom as I would an in-person meeting. So I'd like to see faces and have others see my face. I also think faces convey emotion, and in conversation, it's better to gauge that emotion if you're seeing someone's face. Sometimes though, if I'm at home, I might turn my camera off if there is a distraction. But for the most part, camera on, fully engaged, and talking to people.
Now, she sounds like she took a page from your book.
She certainly did. And I think the main point there is you don't want to have distractions. You want to be able to focus on the meeting and treat it very seriously if you're going to participate at all. And so the concept of turning their camera off, as she said, I was distracted, and when I am distracted, I don't want people seeing that I'm distracted. So either go to the meeting and attend and be part of it and be engaged in it, or don't attend and talk to your boss about that.
It's that simple. At the core of all of this is communication. Let's play the second.
It is.
Let's play the second quickly. Clip it quickly.
I'm Maria Hips, and my job currently is fully remote. So what that means is that I participate in many Zoom calls all day, every day. With respect to using my camera, I follow the lead of my call participants, particularly if I didn't set up the call. If I join the Zoom and everyone's camera's on, I'm putting my camera on. If I initiate the call and I have my camera on and whomever I'm speaking with does not have their camera on, I turn it off because I don't want to have that person feel pressured to be on camera. I'm cognizant of the fact that not everyone is comfortable being on camera.
She sounds very conscientious, waiting on
She does.
the person on the other side.
Yeah, I really like that concept of going with the flow and trying to actually build the cultural norm into what you're doing. And if there's a cultural norm to have the cameras off, well, okay, fair enough. But you're going to get inferior results because you can't see your colleagues. You can't see the interactions that are going on. You can only hear the words. And we know that that's an inferior form of communication.
All right, Martin. I love you. I wish you could come back because I could listen to that accent for days and days and days. Where are you from?
Well, hopefully I'm from Australia.
Excellent.
But hopefully there's been more than just the accent to entertain your viewers this morning, Marisol.
I mean, just a little bit much. Just a little bit. Thank you so much. You're a real pleasure.
Thank you so much, Marisol. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Some really helpful tips for our viewers there. And if you want to check out Martin's book or podcast, just visit the website listed right there on the screen. I mean, he's not lying. He's onto something.
The point about the, too many meetings or to make up for that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's very true. I mean, and I think one clip didn't make it. Someone who was a supervisor said, in the beginning I didn't have my camera on because I thought this was going to be temporary. We were told, oh, this is going to be for 2 weeks. And then a year and a half later, how many people have invested in ring lights or fancy headsets or fancy microphones because this is truly the new way to
I've done none of that.
I did have a ring light, but it was kind of not so great.
But you
I
still
think I
had
looked
one.
better. But I think I actually looked better
without
it. And like sitting by a window
Yeah,
and
the
using
natural
that
light.
for my lighting
Yeah.
was so much better than the ring light.
Nothing beats natural light,
Very true.
I like to dim the lights. The darker the shot, the better. All right.